thought this was an interesting question to look at. So here you have a frequency chart. It says we have asked 60 people who have developed gum disease how many times a week they floss. And so you can see this information here. And what they want us to do is fill out the missing values. Okay, so I can do that. What I want to do here is across the top in row 1, I want to put my headers for each of my columns. So for column A, I'm going to put number of flossings. For column B, I have my frequency. For column C, I'm going to insert a cumulative frequency. For column D, I have the relative frequency. And for column E, I have the cumulative relative frequency. Now, if you notice these words kind of go on top of each other, to fix that, you can just put your cursor in between two columns and double click, and it'll adjust it to the right length for you there. Now, another thing is I want this to look nice, so I'm going to highlight all these cells and click on this menu and add all borders, and that way I don't have any empty spaces. Okay, now we had for the number of flossing, some people said 0, some said 1, 3, 6, and 7. Those were the different values that we were given, and the frequencies for those were 27 for 0, 18 for 1, we don't know how many for 3, 3 for 6, and 1 for 7. And I don't really need to fill out anything else. We can let Excel handle that. Now what I do know is we had 60 people in total. As soon as we find the missing value in B4, the rest of the table will follow very quickly, as I'll show you. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say sum, because I'm going to add the values from B2 down to B6. If everyone was accounted for, this number should be 60, but it's not. It's only 49. Because of that, I know what should go in the cell B4. That should be 60 minus 49. And remember, I put equals in my formula bar. I want to enter. There I have 11 for frequency 3. And now notice my total is 60. And again, the sum function adds up everything that you listed from B2 to B6. Okay, we're going to use that to calculate cumulative frequency. Now, cumulative frequency means that value or less. So as you go, you keep adding them up. So here's how we're going to do it. We're going to say the sum of B2 to B2. Right now, I just want to add up just that one cell. Okay, now the second one, what I want it to say is the sum of B2 to B3. So if I drag this rectangle down, Excel will attempt to follow what we mean, but we're going to get some mistakes here because notice this is B3, B3, sum of B4, B4, B5, B5. That's not what we wanted. I want this to say B2 to B3. I want C4 to say B2 to B4. So I want this first number to stay as B2. The way you fix that first number in your formula is you put dollar signs around it, around the letter. So now when I drag this down, that first B2 will stay and the others will change just like what we wanted. For example, look at C4. It's the sum of B2 up to B4. Okay, so there are my cumulative frequencies. Now, relative frequency means that you turn your frequency into a percentage. So that would be something like this. B2 divided by the number of things that we have in total. Where is the number of things that we have in total? Right here at B7. And I want that number to stay consistent throughout all my formulas. So I'm going to say dollar sign B7, like that. When it equals, there's my relative frequency. That means 45% of these people flossed 0 times a week. And when I drag this down, it'll fill out all my relative frequencies. Just like that. Okay, now in cumulative relative frequencies, we have a couple ways of doing this. We could do the cumulative frequency on column D, so we do that same add up thing, or we could just take column C and divide by 60. Why don't we do that? So I'm going to say C2 divided by dollar signs around the B, 7. Okay, so there's 45% for 27. Notice that the next one I'm adding another 30%. This will be 75. Right? And then as I keep going, it should go up to 100%. And there it is, my cumulative relative frequency. So now we know we can answer any of the questions that we need to. So if we were asked, what percentage of adults floss 6 times a week? Well, percentage means relative frequency. That would be 5. 5% flossed 6 times a week. If we were asked, what percentage of adults floss at most 3 times a week? At most means 3 or less, right? So 3 or less means a cumulative. And since they ask percentage, we mean cumulative relative. 93.33% floss their teeth at most 3 times a week. Alright, so understanding the basics of Excel is very helpful when you're trying to figure out this stuff because it did a lot of the work for us, right? Make sure you understand the sum function and make sure you understand how to drag and drop a formula with the dollar signs keeping one value fixed. If you have any questions on it, I'd be glad to help. I want to make sure you understand, and thank you for watching.